give more returns. Get more security and more interest on your fixed deposits from Sri Lanka's largest finance company, LMDtv Finance.
Finders may not be keepers. Do right. Do the right thing even when no one is looking. Refresh Sri Lanka for a civic-minded society. In association with AICPA and CIMA, CA, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Sri Lanka, and 99X. LMD, the voice of business.
Hello and welcome to LMDtv. Tonight on the forum, the conversation is revolved around LMD's campaign Refresh Sri Lanka with a particular focus on tax evasion. And with us, we have the founder and CEO of 99X, Mano Sekaram. It's very nice to have you on the show, Mano.
It's my pleasure, Ruwandi. Thanks for inviting. I'm glad to be here.
Mano, to start off our conversation and really give our audience a brief overview of our focus area today, how should we change public perception of taxation, given Sri Lanka's very urgent need to come out of this crisis that we're in?
Okay, Ruwandi. For me, I think when you really look as Sri Lankans, culturally, we don't have this notion of paying taxes. I mean, it's a culture thing because we have been a very subsidized economy, right? Where everything is provided either free or by a way of subsidy. So if you look at our education system, both primary and tertiary, our health system, and even some parts of our utility services, what we consume. So I think we culturally have a massive issue about being this notion of paying tax is not within our culture. I think this is the fundamental thing for a developing nation and where you need to develop a robust economy. Taxes are very vital. So I think that is a perception in today's context.
So Mano, where should this changing of perception really start?
I think if you look at our perception, right, and then if you look at this question of tax evasion, right? I think the statistics show, right? We have around 300 to 400,000 tax files, which is about 1.3% of our total population. Out of 9 million working people, only 300 to 400,000 people. So I think it stems from that we are not honest about declaring our income and our wealth and paying taxes. So I think the perception, how do we change the perception? I think fundamentally it starts with a civic-minded society, right? We must do the right thing. Yeah. It is so important that taxes for any country's economic growth, that is about 85% of government revenue comes from taxes. So we need to understand. And as citizens, I think it is paramount that we do the right thing. So it's a question of changing the perception, not only in taxes, but being a civic-minded society. And that is vital for us to start paying taxes and not to evade taxes. We must be honest with ourselves.
And how do you view the situation in the country at the moment in terms of tax paying and tax evasion?
I think there is a new tax regulation is already put in. It is affecting all of us. And I really feel sorry for the wage earner in the middle class of our societies, the lower and the middle class of the societies. It is affecting all of us. But I think this has to be done. for us to go forward. We need to collect taxes in order for us to come out of this crisis as one of the steps. On the other hand, I think we see the reaction, right? Why should I pay tax? Because what do I get out of paying taxes? I mean, there's a lot of questions, and which is rightly so, right? We need to ask this question, but it doesn't mean just because the government is wasting or there is rampant corruption and there is not the right utilization of funds, we cannot not pay taxes. And then I think that is wrong, right? We must do the right thing. It is for us to change the system and make politicians accountable. That is important. But for us to step back and say, no, this is, I'm not going to pay taxes. I'm going to avoid taxes or have evasion purely because I don't agree how they're using my figure. I think that is not. And I think that means, it's just like saying, politicians are corrupt, so I also can be correct. No, I don't think that is correct. We need to pay our taxes. I know it is hard, but it is so important that we need to pay taxes and make the government accountable how they spend the money. And that is our duty. And then I think that is the way we should go about this.
Like you said, Mano, we will have to pay taxes to bring Sri Lanka out of the crisis that we're in. Are there any best practice models of taxation that you can share that we Sri Lankans can take inspiration from?
I think when you really look at best practices, around the world, successful countries who are building economics, tax is a fantastic base as revenue collection and accountability. And then they have brought larger population into the tax bracket. But we have seen it in Singapore, we have seen it in India, we have seen it also even in Dubai. So I think it is very important to widen the net. That's what is important. Otherwise, I think there is a feeling the same people pay taxes over and over again, but we have a wide section of our population not within the tax bracket. So I think fundamentally, we can look at two things or three things. Number one is to deploy more tax assessors on the field, right? We have 1.5 million government services. I think this is a very important part. We can deploy more on the field services to do assessment and to hand over files. And together with this, we can even outsource to private individuals or to companies and, make them self-reliant, self-generating, where you can hand them over the files and then, collect that. We have a larger collection way of collecting taxes and assessing tax. But I think that the real key is digitization, right? Because today technology is available that you have a good digital identity and able to link these systems together, right? It is no rocket science that you will know who is spending what and move towards from a cashless society. So it's if all banking transactions are linked with the motor vehicle RMV to the land registry, to your day-to-day expenses, like all the big expenses like air tickets, etc. You will have a fairly good eye on a digital identity who is spending. So I think we need to bring these things together. And this is not something impossible. We'll start and reporting. Every citizen should have a unique ID. And this is one way. And I think this is the most effective way to bring this together. And this has been done. And then this is not something difficult. It is a question of getting within government and private sector to put these systems together.
It's time to take a short break. When we come back, we'll resume our conversation on tax evasion.
Display your brand message on digital screens at prime locations. The largest digital advertising network in Sri Lanka. Emerging Media.
You're mobile, and so are we.
Gets me going.
Grab the Lite 87 app at the Apple App Store or Google Play now.
87.8 and 87.6 island-wide. Lite 87.
Welcome back to the show. We're talking to the founder and CEO of 99X, Mano Sekaram. Mano, I want to move into something that we've been witnessing a lot, protests of professionals. Do you think that the protests of professionals against increased income taxes are justified?
I think I'd like to not comment much, but this is the will of any government and civic society. This is something we need, right? And then, otherwise we will be left behind in a such a fast-growing economy in the world. And if you want to be part of it, digitization is very key, not only for tax collection, but every aspect of our economy.
Thank you very much. Mano, I'm going to move into something that we've been witnessing a lot in the past couple of weeks, protests of professionals across multiple industries. Do you think the protests of professionals against increased income taxes are justifiable?
Personally, I don't think it is justifiable, right? Professionals are the people who set ethics in any society, right? And I think professionals should pay taxes. And there's no questions that they would ever get involved in even tax evasion. I'm not saying they're doing it. Because you have to understand, right? We have 9 million working force, and it is so important that professionals do pay taxes, right? And because if you really look, we have 1.5 million public sector workforce, and there is a majority of them are professionals, right? Now, if we say we are misusing or there is waste, I mean, it is left for them to make it an optimized government or public services. So this question of protesting, I don't think it is the right thing. For me, it is about ethics. It is about doing the right thing. And daring. Of course, we can challenge and come with alternative suggestions. But at this stage, I think it is so important that all professionals, and not only professionals, even the businesses, that they pay their taxes.
And in your view, what is the role that companies should play to make sure that their professionals and their employees are encouraged to pay taxes?
Yeah, I think all companies must lead by example. I think that is what is very important today, that the companies or the businesses must lead by example. They have to pay taxes, and they need to encourage it, and they have to ensure that they are professionals who work alongside them. Pay. That's simple.
Mano, my next question to you is revolved around the two golden words in today's conversation: Refresh Sri Lanka. Now, you know that this campaign was launched to encourage a mindset change to create a more civic-minded society. In this regard, what would your focus areas be to ensure civic-mindedness in terms of difficult yet necessary aspects such as increased taxation and paying taxes?
I think, Ruwandi, it is nice about Refresh Sri Lanka. We are one of the sponsors as 99X. I think it is to start with the right terminology, civic-minded. We need to create a civic-minded. Taxation is one part, but there is so many other things about being civic-minded. It's about saying no to corruption, being a part of corruption. It's trying to do always the right thing, and also ensuring that we build a fantastic ethos for the country. And I think it has to be led by businesses and professionals. And I think what LMD is doing is very good, to bring this conversation to the open and discuss, and that every one of us take responsibility to become a civic-minded citizen. Ethics is about doing the right thing when nobody else is looking. And then I think that should be the way forward, that we build a civic-minded society. And then you will find there'll be a mass movement, and then, even the politicians and the government will fall in line, right? If your majority of the people demonstrate that they are really a civic-minded citizens, and that they will always do the right thing.
Perfect. We're almost at the end of our conversation. Mano, are there any closing thoughts that you would like to share with our audience today?
I think do the right thing. That's the most important thing for your country and for the future of the country. do the right thing. And then that'll go a very long way. Thank you.
Perfect. We've been talking about LMD's campaign, Refresh Sri Lanka, particularly focusing on tax payments and how we should not evade taxes. And we've been talking to the founder and CEO of 99X, Mano Sekaram. It's been very nice having you on the show, Mano.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
And to our viewers, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, take care.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thank you for watching and stay safe.